Hello everybody and welcome to another episode here from our digital studio at the Edge Summit 2024. My name is Manuel from Bloomreach and I'm going to be the host of today's session where I'm joined by Garima Singh, Chief Architect from IKEA. So thank you very much for being here. I hope you enjoy your stay already so far. And we are going to talk about what consumers really want from AI. I think we have talked also in a couple of other episodes, we talked a lot about what is the view of the merchant, of maybe IKEA, or other merchants out there. How do I make something more efficient? How can I make more money? But let's maybe turn a little bit the view on that and see what actually consumers want. And what is your take on that when you think about the consumer? What do they want from artificial intelligence? Garima.
Right. First of all, thank you very much for having me. The pleasure is really mine to be here. And then I would say, coming back to the question you asked, what consumer really wants from AI. To start with, I would really say that the consumers really accept the power of AI nowadays. The acceptance is getting it's really increasing with the acceptance. But at the same time, they also see the positive impact AI can bring in their day-to-day life, the society, the climate. So they're really in it. But of course, the fears are there as well at the same time. So is it safe? Is it biased? The data that I'm actually giving away to the AI-powered tools, will that be used in another context? So privacy breach kind of thing. So from a value perspective, even though the fears are there, especially the retail customers, I think they see more and more value in having a personalized shopping, which is personalized and catered around them. They see a huge value when the logistics and operations are being optimized for their needs so that you can get your shopped goods faster and also at quite optimized pricing. Also, they see quite a lot that because of the AI, because of the sustainable transport, they can also contribute in a way to the climate as well. So I really see that from a consumer perspective, they really like the personalization, but also the contribution to planet.
So sustainability and personalization, these are the two things. I find it interesting because I'm a little bit of a history nerd, and I once read an article that basically an average person in the 17th century had to consume the same amount of information that is contained today in one edition of the New York Times. So basically, we call this a little bit the content shock in a certain way, basically that people are just overwhelmed by the choice, by the information we are basically getting every day. So personalization, what do you think there that people will see it as a tool that they get the right product, the right information in the right channel, or how do you see this personalization game playing out in this area?
I think anything which is too much is not good, right? And when I say personalization, it has to be catered around the need that I have asked my web application or my AI chatbot to help me with, not with everything else around me, right? So the most important thing here is that the personalization that we're talking about has to be catered for what is being asked in that context, and really try to avoid the, like you just said, information overload. Because it might be, I'll give you an example. If I visit an IKEA website, I am particularly interested in renovating my bedroom, but I probably do not need to know all the recommendations about bathroom accessories and stuff like that. So I would say personalization has to be combined with also the context that I'm actually visiting, the website for, or any of the AI interface for, whether it's a chatbots or a web interface. So personalization in a combo of context.
True, because I think there we were already for years, and you're quite a very senior position at IKEA, and I think IKEA is already doing personalization for the last since the very existence of IKEA. And we were actually already able, and AI is not something that just came around the corner 2 years ago, it's something we already use for a long time. But the thing is, personalization has to be appropriate. It can become very quickly inappropriate of what you're basically showing to somebody.
Yeah.
How do you ensure, what is your take on it? How do you ensure that the consumer receives appropriate personalization?
And that's what I mean, the context that you're sitting in. The context is super important. So I just gave you an example that if I'm looking for renovating my bedroom, I necessarily do not need an information about the bathroom accessories. But at the same time, I also, when I'm looking at the bedroom, if you look at especially the IKEA Creative app, it actually gives you quite a good context on the space. So you can actually upload a picture of your space, and then it helps you only in that space context, again, and not like really over bombarding you with that, okay, you can also buy this and that and so on. It really goes according to the theme that you're looking for. So basically what IKEA Creative App does is like, it really asks you to take picture of the space you're looking for, redesigning or renovating. And then it really takes the picture of that. It really asks you as a customer again for an input, that what kind of theme do you like? What kind of family do you have? Do you have children, cat, pet, and stuff like that? So after you're, really gathering the context and your need, then it starts to really giving you the suggestions. And that's what I mean by the context and the need is super important. Otherwise, what will happen is like IKEA catalog is big, right? Or any other big retailer catalog is super big. Then you would keep on bombarding information that might not be something that consumer are really looking for. That's why it's very important that the AI-powered tech behind and the human on another side interacts and really try to find the good balance in the need.
But this is a very interesting point you're just making, because in the end of the day, the AI can only work on the data it has about the customer to actually calculate these recommendations, personalization. And when you say you upload pictures, you upload what kind of family you have, do you have a cat? This is a typical example of zero data gathering, so data gets this data. Where do you see, how do you think can we teach customers? There is, and it depends on the region you are. Germany, for instance, is a little bit more secure when it comes down to data. But how do we teach customers that without a little bit of sharing their data, there will be no benefit from the AI? How do we get customers to a point that they understand without their intervention, with their data, we can't do anything? How do we teach them with this regard?
Again, I think it is a quite bi-directional process, right? AI is very powerful, but at the same time, AI has to be used very responsibly as well, right? That means, of course, at the same time, this is a balance that we need to strike with the users, that first, what data are they sharing? Is it actually by our policy? Are we really asking the right questions towards the customer, right? So it's not like we are asking our customers to upload all sort of data for giving them the best AI experience. No, I think we have a very tight regulation or very tight policies on what kind of questions can we actually ask the customer. And then at the same time, our brand has a strong commitment towards the privacy of the customer at the same time, but also the overall safety of the data that we are collecting. So for example, some of the data that we are collecting can also be anonymized, even for that particular customer and user, because that is good enough. We don't need to attach it with a particular person. So the point I'm trying to make is a really bi-directional process. First is, of course, as a brand, we are very responsible towards what question and data are we collecting. At the same time, we are also making our customers aware that we might not need all the data to give you the AI-powered experience. There is some intelligence that we can embed by ourselves as well. So it's I would say, joining human, the customer perspective, at the same time, power it up with the technology strengths.
Interesting. So if I summarize, we basically started with the 2 points. So that basically customers want personalization. Due to the content shock out there, customers want security, and customers want, and I think that's maybe the third point, data, sharing your data. Customers want to have, and this is what you as IKEA, you have a very clear path. We are treating your data in a responsible and in a good way. So that's sustainability, personalization, and data security.
Data security and privacy as well.
Privacy,
yeah. So that we are not collecting all sort of data that we probably would not use it in any context.
Exactly.
So we do not need to collect that data.
Interesting, because you also touched upon, obviously, IKEA is very famous for the big IKEA stores, and still furniture is still a thing where, of course, as a consumer, you want to feel it, you want to measure it, you want, when you buy a sofa, you want to feel the texture and stuff like that. So how do you see the combination of the digital experience, which will become loaded with more expertise thanks to generative AI, and the physical experience? How will customers perceive this combination in the future?
Right. As you know, IKEA has always been, we are one of the brands which are not famous for just selling our items in our catalog or range, but it's also about building a customer relationship and giving a customer an experience around IKEA products. But also IKEA uniqueness is also like you can actually make or combine different IKEA products and build your own creative thing out of it. So it's really fit for, it was very personalized from the beginning. I think that the whole theme of the brand has been. And now, of course, from 2020, we have started to go from, rather than just focusing just on the store, we are also, of course, expanding our channels. So we are actually going from, or we have already started that journey in 2020, till now and to be continued, is to become an omni-channel retailer. Then, of course, one of the challenge for us that our key value has been to build relationship and give a customer experience. So we need to also, find our means that how can we translate the experience that we give our customers at the store to actually also transfer that experience in an omni-channel, like web and app. And here, again, I would name IKEA Creative app or app feature, which is available in web and app. Plays a very important role, because here what you can do is you can actually build your experience sitting at your home. You can upload a picture of a space. You can start designing your thing. You can see how it would look like. You can also tailor make and combine different products to give it a different shape or size, right? But at the same time, we are also now enhancing it with an AI there, where you will have a personal design assistant with you who will help you to design the space. So yes, one thing is like you exactly know how you want to design the space, but sometimes if you need assistance. So for example, if you visit IKEA stores, you get a lot of assistance in planning your kitchen, in planning your home space. This personal assistant or digital assistant, we are trying to do the same. That will be your personal planner, which will help you to plan your space with IKEA feel in it.
That's interesting. So basically, the 4 point, that's a fourth point we can now add to the consumer demand in a certain way. So we started with personalization, went to sustainability, so that the whole logistics and everything is more sustainable. We went to privacy, data privacy, and now we are at expertise. So basically that we bring, what you just said, the expertise I have in the store into the digital experience, where, for instance, when it comes down to building a kitchen, planning, or so, I have how do you call it? The planning.
The digital planning assistant.
The digital planning assistant. So that's a fourth aspect, that I have the expertise I normally have in the store. I have it also in the digital.
In the digital space. And the thing is, there's another possibility that if you're still not you still want to go to the store and touch and feel the sofa and things, you can still visit the store, right? So you can design everything in your web application or app, and then you can still visit the IKEA store. The advantage here is that the whole cycle of it, because you have already planned everything now in the app, you just need to reconfirm, or some things that you want to redesign. The whole, the loop here gets shorter.
Yeah.
And more connected, what we call it, online, offline channels. So you're combining an offline to an online channel as well.
Interesting. So I know we're coming at time with a short chat. Just one last question when it comes down to AI. And I always say generative AI, the last 2 years, it changed so much and it changed the landscape, that I always say my grandmother, if she still would be alive, she would know something about AI, because it's in the public outlets, everybody talks about it. In 1 or 2 sentences, what is the next thing besides Gen AI, the next thing in AI you're very, very much looking forward to utilize, or you see in the horizon the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, I think there are things which are already there, and I think this will just grow bigger. First thing that I can mention is, the conversational AI, where you can actually start communicating in your natural language, and it actually makes your whole shopping experience very simple, very personalized, yet very seamless. We have started with it. Some of us have started with it. I think this is just going to go to the next level in the coming years, and I'm very excited about it to see how it turns up. So for example, taking back the example that you said, like if your grandma would have been alive, she didn't needed to go and start looking for a particular keywords. She could just talk, and the assistant would help in shopping for her, right? Lying on the bed or on a sofa. So that's one. The second one, I see that, I also come from a very heavy automotive background. I worked with the self-driving cars before. I see that those technologies are now getting into the AI. So for example, the AI-powered computer vision technology, which was actually introduced in automotive first back in 2017. Now it's actually being also used in a retail and in other areas as well, which basically helps you to transform a space into a 3D virtual reality objects and starts to, you can play around it, and it starts also to, be very autonomous in designing things as well, depending on your choices. It's at, I would say, not super preliminary, but in an early stage. I'm also looking forward how this is actually going to grow. So I'm really excited for these two.
Interesting. So conversational is the last point I will take. I think conversations are still the most important aspect of our business. So that thank you very much that you joined us today here in the digital studio of Edge Summit. And this concludes our part here. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you will tune in also into other episodes. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.